Alright. Oh, I hate doing intros.
Yalla, you
Yalla.
got this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Curator'S couch. Everyone.
Hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment, and make sure you share with friends, family.
Yes.
Show my guys some love.
Alright, welcome back, guys, to another edition of Curator'S Couch. We're in Ramadan. Ramadan Kareem to everyone.
Ramadan Kareem, guys.
Yeah, Ramadan Kareem. And we have another very, very special guest here today, a fellow Egyptian as well.
Fellow Egyptian.
Yeah. We're a bit prideful these days after the Golden Parade.
Oh
you
my
know?
God. No, it's actually really excellent, to be honest.
It was a great watch.
It was a huge production.
So yeah, let's just get right into it, I guess.
Yep.
So tell me what is OneandFour Studio and who is Engy?
Okay, what do I start with? Which one
It's a
first?
bit of a loaded one, but
Okay, so we'll do Engy first. And
okay,
then
yeah,
right?
that
I feel
makes
like
sense.
Makes sense.
That makes more sense.
I'm Engy. I grew up all over the world.
Okay,
I was born in Cairo,
nice.
but then I moved to New Zealand when I was like 2. And then
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Okay.
Yeah. My parents were like, eeny meat. No, that's not what happened. There was more thought in it, you know. but basically, and then I was 8, moved back to Cairo,
Okay.
and then at 13 moved to Saudi. So it's kind of just like
All over the place a bit.
it's just like what my parents' work takes
Yeah.
them.
Okay.
We go.
That's nice. So how was
And
it growing up in all these
that's
different
it.
places?
Like, I don't think that culture shock applies to me anymore.
Yeah, I
because
don't
It's like, okay, let's go. You know, like whatever. But then I ended up going back to New Zealand to study.
For uni?
Yeah.
Okay,
And I
nice.
studied fashion design.
Okay.
Before I came here. So yeah, so that was really cool because like I lived alone. And you kind of like I'm literally on the other side of the planet as anybody else, you know. So, but yeah, it's like a really good time to like get to know yourself. And
Yeah, I can relate because I grew up here as well.
Okay.
Lived my whole life here.
Yeah.
Egypt before here, and I moved to Canada
okay.
for uni, and I
It's
relate
just-
to that a lot
it's
because
so
you're just completely on the other side of the world, isolated from everyone.
Yeah,
It's just you're thrust into like a new place, and you just have to figure it all out.
exactly. I also moved to somewhere not the same city that I grew up in. So
Somewhere else in New
somewhere
Zealand.
else. So it's like
Okay.
not entirely different, but
Yeah.
very different. Like
Yeah.
So I did fashion design. I started off with women's wear because that's kind of just how like the course goes. And then at one point you get to explore men's and women's. And so I was like, let me try this menswear thing out. I can't remember if that's how it happened or they made us do it. Yeah, they made us do it.
Yeah.
They're like, now you lot have to try out menswear, and I'm like, okay. And then I kind of stuck with it. That's just how I continued. I really liked it. I think the reason why I really liked it is because I could remove myself entirely from the design. You know, like it's like I'm not a man. So I'm not thinking of what I want to wear.
Yeah.
I just wanted to design for design's sake. Like I wanted to like really develop something, and not just like think about what's cool and what's trendy
And what it would look like on
and
you
what it would
or
look
on
like
a girl
on me.
or someone
Yeah,
else,
exactly. So it was really designed for design's sake, and I was like doing very sort of engineered stuff.
That's cool.
So that was fun.
And is that where you learned how to like sew and knit and do all of these?
Well, I can't knit, but
Oh, okay.
we did have like crazy knitwear machinery there.
Yeah.
Which now for this stuff that I'm wearing right now, I got to use it. Obviously not me, but like the production is using it, where it's just like a computer thing, and then it just prints it out, and you're like,
That's crazy.
really cool.
Yeah.
But no, we didn't actually like knit with needles or anything.
Okay.
But no, that is where I learned how to do everything. A lot of the people there, which was so funny, a lot of the people there came from like schools where they were able to do art and design, so they had a bit of background. I had nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I was such a nerd. I came in with like math and physics and like literally no practical skills. Obviously, I know how to draw from before, like that was something, but I had a sewing machine as well, but I didn't really know how to make stuff, you know? I also was in architecture before fashion for like a year.
And you just, wasn't it for you?
It wasn't. I remember telling my dad, I was like, my parents are both architects, and
Oh, okay,
and
nice.
but they didn't like pressure me into it or anything. I kind of just felt like I should do it.
Yeah,
And also it was the closest thing to design, you know.
That's
to, like,
true.
yeah, so I did it for a year. I actually loved it. Like, it was really, really cool. But I remember telling my dad, I was like, once I finish architecture, I'm going to go do fashion design. He was like, oh, such a waste of time. And I was like, I didn't expect that reaction. Like, he was the one that was like, that's a waste of time. Why would you do that? And I was like, oh, okay then. I'm a piece out then.
No, that's so relatable. But going back to what you said about how we grow up and we don't have these art schools or design schools or any of that sort of stuff, it always goes back to the same thing as you know, creatives in the UAE and in the Middle East in general. It's not just the UAE. I don't know why I said that, but they're just so like marginalized and disregarded because no one kind of sees the value in what you do, I guess. And it's such a it's kind of the whole point of what I'm doing here, right?
Right. Okay.
To talk to as many creatives as possible who have tried to make a living or are making a living out of their creative passions.
Yeah.
So that people can see that it's just as plausible as being like an engineer or an architect, like you said, or whatever it is, right? And I'm still trying to figure out, you know, why this sort of marginalization exists. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that or something like that?
Oh my God, that's a big one. Pass.
No, it's all right. I can give you my sort of thesis.
Go ahead.
And
Okay, and then we'll
if you
build
think
on
of
that.
anything, you could just let me know. But I think it kind of starts in the education system because, you know, everyone from a very young age we're taught to prioritize math, physics, science, whatever, you know, all these trivial subjects. And
trivial. Are they trivial?
What, you know what I mean?
Traditional.
Traditional,
maybe.
That's a better word to describe it. But yeah, and then the other things like art or dancing or whatever, singing it may be.
Yeah.
They're not prioritized at all in the education system. So I guess maybe if I were to pinpoint like one thing where we can try to make a better effort to like cut these marginalizations out, it would probably be first thing I would say is, you know, growing up in school, prioritizing every subject.
Yeah. I think I might have to like bring it back to colonization, you know? No, but for real, like so many of our countries have been colonized and like not us, but the people before us worked so hard to get us out of that. And so it's just like this mentality of like, we must overachieve. Like we have to be so great, you know?
Go above and beyond.
Yeah, like we have to just be the best at things.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, and so it's you can, like we don't anymore have that privilege to just be like, yeah, I'm just gonna be an artist, you know? I'm gonna dance. Like, what do you mean?
True.
Like people worked so hard before you to get you out of like some BS, you know? So you better do something good with your life, you know? So that's kind of maybe, I don't know. I think it also, it's not the same thing, but it's also kind of like how some women now choose not to study, like choose not to go to university. And then there's one school of thought, and I, to be very honest, was like kind of part of that for a moment. My mother got me out of it, but I was kind of like, I don't understand after all those years, like after, you know, so many women's rights movements and things like that, where it's like now, like women can study now, women can go to school, women can travel, and then you choose not to study. And it really bugged me, you know? And then I remember having this conversation with my mother, and she was just like, yeah, but now we have the choice. Before it wasn't a choice. It was like, true. you don't get to do this. You don't get to go to school. Whereas maybe whether you wanted to or not, but now you can choose. Like you can choose if you want to or not. It's up to you. Yeah. And so and on a grander scheme, like that's, I think, potentially the same thing.
I it's true.
Yeah.
It definitely is. All right, so let's get back to OneandFour. Kind of strayed away from
derailed. That. So then after uni, I came here. Okay. I did postgrad for like a year. I really honed in on like the pattern making, so cutting clothing. It's like my main thing. And so I moved here after that, and obviously I always wanted to have a brand, but you kind of need to like have some funds before you do that, you know? You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, what do? I tried to get a job, didn't really find anything that I wanted to do. I mean, I was very adamant on like working in design because I wanted to learn more about the industry. I didn't find anything, to be completely honest with you, at the time, and so I just created my own job. I literally made a website. I called it Creative Pattern Cutters, as if it's like more than one person. As if it's not.
By the way, I do that all the time with this.
Me,
with this, I'm like we. I always say we.
But literally, like I was so young, like I was like 22 or whatever, and it was literally just me. I didn't have any tools. I had nothing.
Yeah.
But I made this website. Literally, I had nothing. I remember, like, I didn't have a table. I didn't have anything, because I came from New Zealand with none of my tools.
Wait, but before you get into it, why did you pick here? Like,
because my siblings are all here.
Okay.
And they were like, yalla.
Yeah,
and I was like, all right,
okay.
Yeah, and my parents were still living in Saudi at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just my siblings here until now.
All right.
But yeah, so I made this website. I went on to the Fashion Forward website. I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
And oh my god, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Can I take it?
Yeah,
Because I've been trying to get this guy for so long.
Of course.
This fabric guy. Hello? Yes, hello? Yes, I called. I messaged you on WhatsApp. Yeah, on WhatsApp. I want you to send me fabric swatches, the colors. Yeah. Please check. Same number I sent you on WhatsApp. I just need fabric swatches for mesh and ponte knit. Okay? Can you send it now, please? Okay, so don't forget, please. Okay. Thank you. He's literally been ignoring me. I just need to order fabric.
It's okay.
Come on now.
Don't worry about it.
Where were we?
So you're on the Fashion Forward website.
Oh yeah, I really forgot. Okay. Yeah, so I went because again I didn't know anybody here. Literally zero contact.
Yeah.
My siblings don't work in the same scene at all, so also they don't know anything. So anyway, I went on the website. I saw like the list of designers, and so I go one by one onto Instagram, get their contacts. And I emailed them all, and I was like, "Hello, we're a new pattern cutting service."
Okay.
And it actually worked
Yeah.
because like 2 days, and I got hits, and I was just like, "Oh, okay." And so I start ordering all this stuff online, like the tools, literally a sewing machine, everything. Yeah, and then I started working. Obviously, it was hard in the beginning. I didn't know how to charge people.
Yeah.
I was young. I was very sort of like I just wanted to do the work. But yeah, I got fooled a little bit, you know. But it's fine. It happens.
Yeah, but you have to learn. Right?
Yeah, you have to learn. You have to get your name out there as well.
Exactly.
And so honestly, I did work in the beginning, like I don't know, like 2 weeks worth of work for like 200 dirhams, like literally.
That's crazy.
And it's like all day work, like morning to night kind of work, and it's just like, but they just wouldn't get it. Like they wouldn't get why I would charge more than that. And I was kind of just like really timid and cute, and I was like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Now I'm
now
I'm like, oh, you don't want to pay bye. Good luck finding someone, you know.
These
like,
conversations are not easy to have in the beginning.
No, exactly.
You don't really know the value of what you're doing
Exactly.
until you kind of keep doing it.
Keep doing it.
Yeah.
And you don't have a name out there either. So they'll be like,
Exactly.
who the hell are you to like charge me this? It grew later, word of mouth, and then it was okay. But then.
So how did that turn into OneandFour?
So that turned into it didn't turn into. They kind of ran parallel.
Yeah.
So then, you know, whatever bit of money I got, I would go and like buy my fabric and start making stuff and producing and paying my tailors, you know. And so it kind of just fed that. Like I literally never had money for myself. It was all just like zero. Like, but
it's
that's
good.
but that's
Investing back into yourself.
That's the way.
Yeah.
Well, not into myself, but but that's just the way that it had to be, you know.
Yeah.
I did get help from family. I'm never gonna deny that, you know.
Of course. Yeah.
But I got a lot of help. But I still like wanted that merit of, you know, being able to still work and make money and put it into it, even if sometimes I needed a bit extra, you know. But yeah, so now OneandFour is, you know, where it's at. It's still not a big thing. It's not huge.
No,
It has some people that like it, you know.
Yeah.
I've also gone through a lot with it as well. Like, I think that I have different thought processes and different things that I want to try, and so I think that it has gone through different things as a brand.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with that. Like, it's not like I started off the same thing and it's always been the same.
It grows as you grow.
Yeah, like the underlying theme, the underlying thought process is kind of the same. Yeah. But yeah, like you said, it grows. It's been growing with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So has the sustainability route, has that been since the very beginning, or is that something, like you said, an idea that progressed as you got more into it?
Yeah, definitely. It's always been, my focus was always like being ethical. So it was always like, make sure you pay people properly, you know, all of that. Make sure you don't give ridiculous deadlines, you know, pay people on time, all of that stuff. Like the ethics was always there. But sustainability kind of grew, and it has been causing me some like internal because it's like, it can't be sustainable. Like, it just can't.
Yeah.
Like, there's no such thing. Like, the more that I learn about it, there's no such thing. But you realize that you can at least make better efforts. Like, you can constantly make better efforts.
I read in your article.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I did read it. I gave it a quick read before you got here.
Oh.
But yeah, you talk about, you kind of get into how it's nearly impossible to be fully sustainable. Exactly. But there's a term that I use that I really liked, which is carbon offsetting, right?
Yeah,
that's what it's called.
Yeah.
What does that mean for whoever, you know?
Yeah, which is so. I'm gonna talk about something else right after that, because I learned again something new yesterday about that. But yeah, carbon offsetting basically means that you need to understand how much carbon you're putting out into the environment with the processes that you're doing. So shipping, production, all shipping is huge.
Shipping is the worst part of it, right?
It's like so bad. Shipping, like from the factory to you, and also from you to all your customers.
Exactly.
So it's just the whole thing is just bad.
Yeah.
but then people are like, oh, biodegradable packaging, which I do, you know. But that's not the worst part. Like, it's actually like the actual transportation, the delivery. You know, like the gases that they use. Like it's just the whole thing is, there's a lot to it, you know. And anyway, yesterday I attended this summit online, this Business of Fashion Sustainability Summit, for like 4 hours. I'm actually a nerd. Like, there's no way around it. I'm just like I came home from work, I was like, I gotta watch this.
No, I love that. Always eager to learn.
You know, committed, yeah. But anyway, they were talking about carbon offsetting, and they were like, sometimes I think that brands potentially use it as an excuse or a way around what they do, and it's just like, oh my god, like that, you know, like that's also a thing, and it's just hard. So I think that like I'm reaching a point now where I'm like, I actually don't want to produce stuff. Like, it's starting to scare me, because I'm like, okay, this is like 3 thoughts in one.
It's okay.
But okay, so there's so many people producing things all at the same time. Yeah. You know, there's high-end ones that don't maybe they do produce so much. They just say that they don't, you know?
Yeah.
There's that. But then there's also fast fashion who literally don't even lie about it. They just produce so much.
Ridiculous.
There's today, because like I was doing a bit of research, and I found a bunch of brands who literally will take pictures from the real brand and put it on their website for like a fraction of the price. Okay. And some of them are like literally pixelated images.
Jeez.
So you literally have no idea what you're getting, because it's a pixelated image, like
from another thing.
From another
that's
website.
Probably from another thing as well.
You know, and it's just like, well, all these people are producing at like colossal amounts. Like, it's not even normal. Yeah. And then so you're like, well, really, like when I produce like 100 pieces, am I ruining the planet? Not really in the grander scheme of things, but still, I'm kind of like, well, I might as well not, you know? So it's really like, it's really a struggle a lot of the time.
So I guess the question to that would be, how do you like incentivize brands like the H&Ms and the Zara's and those to be more sustainably conscious? Is that even an option, or is it kind of like a lost cause and your best bet, because they are business at the end of the day, and cutting costs and making revenue is their bottom line.
Exactly.
So is that kind of a hopeless cause to even try to incentivize them, or is it a smarter route to just educate everyone else on how to consume consciously?
No, it can't be like that. It has to be both because sustainability, like in production, it runs so deep.
Yeah.
Like people are like, yeah, cotton is such a great fabric. Actually, it consumes ridiculous amounts of water.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
so is it that great? Not really.
No.
You know, people are looking now more into like protein fibers. So, you know, alpaca and wool, not looking into, obviously they've been around forever.
Yeah.
But also those fibers are very warm, you know? So we can't be doing that. So
especially not here.
No. So it's rough. It's a bit rough. And then there's like regenerated fibers like linen and rayon, which are like, rayon is like an imitation fiber. Linen is obviously super nice and cool, but you get like linen just looks like linen. Like you can't really do much to it.
That's true.
Like we're not all gonna look like ancient Egyptians, you know, like,
or like
wrapped
on a beach in Greece somewhere, you know, or something.
Like a nice shirt and like flowy pants, barefoot. Like, it's one or the other. Like that's the look.
That's so true.
Maldives, like
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so then it's like those massive companies, they're the ones that have to make a change, but how are you going to ask them at this point in their business to dial it way, way, way back and like cut their production quantities? They're trying to cut costs to make more, and we're asking them to cut quantity, like, so they're like, where the hell am I going to make my revenue then? So they're just not going to do it.
Yeah, it probably won't happen until like it's forced by a law
by
or
who?
like something like that.
I don't know.
Because I mean, capitalism.
You know, basically the umbrella.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think that at this point, I've reached a point with OneandFour. I've reached the stage of like, not that I ever went too far, but I am dialing it back further again. Because I did come, maybe I never like acted on it, but in my mind I was like, okay, I got to produce, I got to make the stuff that people want. And that was never my mindset with what I wanted to do. Like it was always, I'm going to create, I'm going to experiment, I'm going to put it out there. If someone appreciates it, cool.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
I never wanted it to be hype. I never wanted it. I'm not even cool. Like, I don't even care about people thinking that my stuff is cool. You know what I mean? I just want to do what I want to do.
Exactly.
Like I just want to experiment. I want to make what I think is good. You know?
But people are always drawn to authenticity and like being yourself. So that's
but people are drawn to hype way more.
That's
Let's
true.
be honest.
That's true.
Yeah, so I think that right now, like what I'm doing, and you just heard one of the phone calls, you know. I'm honestly like I'm just gonna get like an amount of fabric that I want to do like one piece with. I don't know if you saw, but over quarantine last year, I did a bunch of like 3D designs. I learned the program because what the hell else was I gonna do? I always wanted to learn it. I just never had the time.
Yeah.
And so that was a really
couldn't
good
have been
thing.
a better time.
It really was good, you know. So. So I learned the program. It helped a lot, actually, because even when I was still, I'm not doing client work anymore, but even when I was still doing client work, it helped a lot because I could do work with people without seeing them, without even having to sit with them. They literally could just send stuff, send it, and they print it out. Like, it's not a big deal. But yeah, anyway, so I did a bunch of 3D designs, and I never made them real, and so I want to make them real because that's where when I went to 3D, I was like, I actually don't have to think about anyone or you know, I don't have to think about anything practical at all. Like true. I could just create. I can just really create. I can use whatever hell colors I want to use. I don't have to think about like what people will like, what's trendy, none of that. So now I was like, okay, let me just like take these pieces one by one, maybe over the span of a few months, and just put them out there, create them. Wear them myself, you know, which is also a new thing for me because like I never even used to like represent
like your own drip.
Yeah, I was drip. I was always really sort of like I just didn't even want people to know that I was behind OneandFour.
Oh, okay.
Like I just
wanted like an ambiguous type of thing.
You know, but that's not gonna work in this day and age. I wanted to be the Margiela, you know. No.
Wait, but going back to the 3D, for anyone who doesn't understand what that is, do you mind just giving like a brief explanation of what it is?
Yes, sure. Okay, so basically it's a program that like me looking directly at the camera. Please cut that.
I will.
But basically it's a program where it has like a split screen. So there's flat pattern making, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to explain what that is. Basically, it's like creating a template for clothing, and that's like what I've specialized in. Basically, it's creating cuts, and that's what I was doing for my clients and all of that. So you have a split screen where one side you can do a flat pattern, like you can do the flat template, you create it, and then you have a mannequin on one side, and it simulates directly onto it. And then there's different functions where you can see if something is too tight, like it will give you sort of like hot zones. So you can actually see, and then you can like move the mannequin. So
and dimensions and everything. And
everything.
Width, height.
Everything. Like they have like a standard model size, but then you can also just open that up and change literally every single measurement in it. So like I have one that's my measurements. I have one that's my brother's measurements.
Amazing.
Like you know, like
Amazing.
you can literally really customize things. So then you'll actually get a proper fit. So it's really, really cool in that sense. Obviously cuts down time so much. Like something that would take me, like patterns, they're very time consuming. Like something that would take me maybe 3 days, I literally could get done in 3 to 4 hours.
That's amazing.
Which is ridiculous.
Because, so time well spent learning that.
You know?
For sure.
Because for example, like with the real life pattern, you have to cut it out into real fabric, sew it, put it on, do all the stuff. Check where it's tight. Where is this? It's literally like right there. Oh, it's tight there. Let me just add a half centimeter. You know, like
easy
on the spot.
Okay, amazing.
It's actually life changing. It was bittersweet, extremely, because I've been doing practically pattern making for a very long time. And it's almost sort of like a meditation process for me. Like I can literally watch something, I can talk to people while I'm doing it, because it's very sort of like muscle memory type of thing. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, lunch. So it was kind of like that, you know, like I really loved the process of it. So it was kind of bittersweet moving to digital. Because you're just clicking around. But at the same time, it's sweet, you know, because
it's cuts an insane amount of time.
So much time, so much waste as well, because I don't have to keep cutting fabric and throwing it. Like,
true. Actually, I didn't think about that.
So much waste. And paper, like so much paper, so much fabric. So it's honestly, it's a bit life changing.
Perfect segue to my next question.
Oh, let's go.
So, how was your time having a studio in D3? How did you? How was your experience there? And I think you transitioned to a home studio now, right?
Yeah.
Because it's just...
Yeah, so it still exists. I just never went back to it.
Oh, okay.
So basically in the beginning of 2020, I was living with my brother. I've always lived with my brother, but we just separated. We just moved separately like a couple months ago. So now I live with my sister instead. Okay. Anyway, this is like details nobody needs to know. But anyway, we moved into a house where I had an extra room to have a whole studio. So it was like a full room basically. Amazing. And so that was very convenient because 2 months later we were on lockdown. So I slowly went and got all my stuff from D3, and I just didn't need to go back, honestly. It's also a shared space. So I did have my stuff there, but I always, in my head, was kind of like, there's other people there, and it just like bugged me a little bit. So I didn't need it anymore because I had a whole ass room, so it was fine.
And was it like something they invited you to come work at, or like was it something you were renting, or how did that work?
Yeah, so basically, it's part of like my company license.
Okay.
It's like an incubator area, so anybody who has a license there can work.
Okay.
With it, like in that space. So it's nice, yeah. It's not like anybody can go.
Yeah.
You do pay the price a little bit. So,
but was it worth it? Did you enjoy your time there?
I did. So it was, first of all, really nice to be working in D3. It was really nice to sort of have like a showroom space. Yeah. So people, because that's like an issue that I have right now, even people would be like, oh, but I want to try it on first. In D3, I'd be like, okay, come to D3. And they'd come try it on, pay on the spot, peace, you know, all good. So now I'm back to not having that, just because I'm honestly just not going to move all my stuff there again. I'm not going to be sitting there full time anymore. So, but you know, it was good while it lasted. Okay.
So
this is so Egypt.
Yeah, it is. I literally got it from Egypt.
It's so good.
I love it.
You know what I found out recently? I don't know if this is one of them, but I did a production in Egypt a couple of years ago for Sole, actually.
Okay.
My t-shirts, I did my t-shirts in Egypt, so they were organic cotton.
Nice.
And the prints were non-chemical, like it was all, very, whatever. And anyway, so I asked the person that was at the factory, I was like, what do you guys do with the waste? Like, what do you do with the offcuts? And she was like, we send them to a clean factory.
Clean, yeah.
And I was like, damn. So they send them all these bits and they weave them into
maybe one of this is waste from your shirt.
It might be, So honestly, look at these. Like, this is jersey fabric right in there.
It's all completely different.
It's all different, and you
There's
just
like
get
patterns,
bits
weird stuff.
cut off, and it's just whatever. Like, it's literally offcuts from factories, which
Yeah.
I think is so good. This is what I love about old industries like Egypt. Like,
Yeah.
it's so wholesome.
Exactly.
There's actually no waste because they all
True.
use each other's waste for something.
Yeah. I never thought about that, actually.
Yeah, it's old industries.
Yeah.
Like, they have factories for everything.
Yeah.
It's so good.
That's true. What was, speaking of one of the Sole collection, what was one of your favorite ones that you've worked on throughout, OneandFour's journey?
I only did one Sole. And then it locked down the year after. Right?
Yeah.
But in general, what was
yeah,
one
in
of my
general,
favorite
like one
collections?
of your, whether it was, launching it, working on it,
Okay.
whatever it might be.
I think actually it was that one.
Okay.
Because that was the one that... No, that one and the one before it. So what I put out in Sole wasn't all what I released in that year.
Okay.
So the one that I did earlier in that year also was really cool, I think, because it was like the beginning of the sort of journey of using dead stock fabrics, and it was a pre-order based collection as well.
Okay, so it was like made to order?
Made to order.
Okay.
So that was what I was doing for waste management,
Yeah.
Don't produce too much. I didn't have a lot of fabric on me. I just had a little bit, and then if I got more, then I would buy more,
Yeah.
So it just was controlled in that sense, because before that I would always end up with extra fabric rolls because you over order.
Yeah, that's true.
And you like overproduce, and it's just
because it's always better to have more than less.
Just in case.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so then with this one it was really good because people could appreciate it and not buy it, or appreciate it and buy it, and then I would make it for those people, and that was all good.
Yeah.
And then also the stuff that I did for Sole I really liked, because that was also the first time that I designed a print, which was so cool. It had horses on it.
Nice. I see you're into horse riding a lot, right?
Yeah, I love it. I'm not obsessed at all.
Funny story, actually. My dad is he's obsessed as well. He grew up in Egypt from ages like 16 to like 22.
Okay.
He was at a stable.
Amazing.
His all day, every day.
Yeah.
And he used to like compete in horse jumping and all this.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he was more into the jumping, the sudud and whatever.
Yeah.
And he wakes up one day and he has an allergy to horses, and he can never ride again.
What?
Yeah.
I would actually cry.
Yeah, it was his whole life for like 5-6 years, and one day he just wakes up and
he just couldn't.
Couldn't. Every time he'd go around the horse, he would just like his throat
like bad allergy.
Very bad.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Has he tried since?
We actually just spoke about it this week. I'm like, because he was sitting here watching some horse jumping stuff.
Yeah.
And he looked so sad. I'm like, yo.
So sad.
I'm like, yo, I'm sure there's some medication or something from way back when. Like,
yeah, because sometimes this stuff changes.
Exactly. I'm like, see something, try it out. You don't have to like jump. You could just do it like as a hobby now or something. Because he used to tell me how therapeutic it was. I guess you can relate to that.
It's crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, nothing to do with...
I mean, I feel sad for your dad now. Because I can relate so much. I literally would cry if someone told me I was allergic to horses.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Anyway.
But yeah, anyways, the print had horses on it.
The print had horses on it. Yeah, I loved it, honestly. I thought it was fun. I didn't make much of it. I just stopped making much of anything, to be honest. That collection also had those t-shirts that I did in Egypt. They said, eat your vegetables.
What?
Eat your vegetables. I had realized that I was being so serious in my design, and I was just like, whatever, you know? Not to say that I think I'm good at doing t-shirts, to be honest.
Okay.
Like, I don't think that I would do them again.
Okay.
It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
I honestly was doing them just because it's what people want.
Yeah. Like the graphic tees, you mean?
The graphic tees,
okay, yeah.
But I'm not good at them.
Yeah.
I don't wear them that much anymore either. And like it's like that same thing of like the brand grows with me. So
exactly.
I personally don't wear graphic tees anymore, and so I just don't relate to them anymore either.
That's really refreshing to hear, because like most brands would just think of what people want as opposed to what doing what they enjoy doing or what they enjoy wearing.
Exactly. Just to like get blown up. But, you know, I mean, it works for them, obviously. It hasn't worked for me, so maybe one day. But yeah, what were we saying? And in that same collection, I also did these knitted cardigans in Peru.
Okay.
In like a factory that's owned by like 20 women.
No, I was gonna ask you about Peru.
Yeah.
How did you find the factory? How did you come across it?
So I'm on this sourcing website.
Okay.
And it just like if they put themselves on, you'll find them. You know. So I was looking for people who are certified for like organic cotton, certified for like ethical production, all of that stuff. Like basically allows you to like filter with all of that. And then obviously I got in touch with them and spoke to them personally. And it really was just like a group of, like a family. It's not even a group. It's literally like me, my mom, my grandma, my aunt. Like,
that's amazing.
So cute.
Yeah.
So they made it and they would send me pictures of them like stitching the buttons on. Like, I loved it. It was so cute.
That's so wholesome.
And then so wholesome, like so sweet. And they would send me like with the name. Obviously, I can't remember anyone, but like they'd be like, oh, like Elma or whatever is stitching on the buttons right now, and I'm like, sick, thanks, Elma. And then they sent it to another factory in Peru that does vegetable dyeing. Okay. So the cardigans, like obviously they're just like a natural undyed color, and then they send them there. And I just made like a graphic on Illustrator with like the color gradients that I wanted. And I sent them exact Pantones for the gradients. And like measurements of like where the colors start. And they just did it. And it's literally vegetable dyed. So they mix the colors and everything. And they match the Pantone exactly. That's amazing. And they dry them in the sun. It's just like, and I have pictures of all of this. It's so cute.
That's so cute. You send me a couple of them. I'll put them up in the video. That would be cute.
Really sweet, honestly.
Okay, nice. Going back to what you said about you stopped client work, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
I did.
how was
Why?
Why? Sure. Why? And also like, what would you say like for you was one of the biggest recurring problems that you had doing client work as a creative? Yeah.
So obviously like in quarantine, like in 2020. That year, just like a lot of stuff kind of happened. Didn't happen actually. And so like for the first half of the year, I didn't really have a lot of work at all. Like so many projects got canceled in February. I had a lot of stuff lined up for the year, and then it all just like went down the drain, and it's kind of just like, oh my god, stressful as hell. But whatever, you're at home, you're not really spending much, it's fine. And then it picked up again around July, not for client work, but with the collaboration with Nike, which was sick. Like, that was really cool. I love it. I love working with them. It's really nice, obviously.
For whoever isn't aware, what was the collaboration for?
Okay, so basically... So back in February, I had messaged a friend of mine at Nike, and I emailed her actually, like I made it like really official, and I was like, this might be a really long shot, but I know for a fact that Nike has a lot of dead stock items that are not going to be sold because they're out of season. What would you think if we collaborate? If you give me the stuff, I design stuff, and make it out of these things. And she was like, that's actually a cool idea, let me pitch it. And then that lockdown happened, so the conversation didn't really go further. And then in July they came back and contacted me, so she actually kind of pitched it to them, and she an idea to them, and she was like, well, let's bring Engy to do it, kind of thing. Like, she just twisted it a little bit to make it work, which is fine.
That's smart.
Anyway, so they were like, we're releasing this shoe, the VaporMax 2020. It's like 60% recycled, and we have all this dead stock. And I was like, oh, really? I didn't know.
As as if it wasn't your entire idea.
It's fine. And they were like, would you be down to like collaborate with us on making a face mask and a tote bag for the release of the shoe?
Yeah.
Are you gonna do that? There you go.
It's okay. Yeah, leave it.
And I was like, yeah, okay, I'm down, obviously. So I like took the shoe. I looked at the shoe. I took inspiration from it, designed stuff.
Yeah.
And they did it, and it was sick, you know.
It is sick. I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah.
So yeah, going back to the problems with
so that was kind of like after that I did start getting client work again, because you know it's just that's the way that it is, you know, like you put something on Instagram, you put it online, and people are like, oh, that person still exists, you know. So I did get contacted again, but it was kind of like the last straw. So I think it was 3 projects that were happening around the same time, going to happen, didn't happen.
Yeah.
Of like one place who wanted they wanted really cool like designed uniforms. It was a new barbershop, I think, and they wanted stuff. They just wanted like cool uniforms, and I was like, okay, I'm down. And it's like I think it was like 2 months of us talking and me going back and forth with designs and actually going to my tailor and getting them samples made, and then sending a quote and then being like. And they say, oh, it's too much, or
after all that work,
all that work that's already done, but they don't see that as work that's already done. They just see the whatever you're gonna give me after actual physical product as work. Fine, I get it. Yeah. But at the same time, it's kind of like, well, I wasted all this time. But it happens.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
It's happened a lot before, but you know when it's just like it's too much and it's at a time where you're like, no, but I actually need work, you know, so. No, like this sucks, you know. And so that one kind of dropped, and or they'd be like, oh, we're gonna pay you half and then half after, and I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever, that's normal as well. But then they don't, and then they'd like just drop off, like just shit like that, you know.
That's fucked up.
You know what I mean? Like it's just what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
And then there was another one also that I was talking to. Literally for 4 months, I think. Yeah, it was like September. No, not 4 months. September to December. A long ass period of time as well. So much research because they wanted a lot of pieces. Like they wanted so much stuff.
Okay.
A lot of printed stuff. So I had to like do it in China.
Yeah.
And so I had to connect with so many different suppliers and get quotes and like lower the prices and. Stuff that I don't even want to do because it's just like beyond my own principles, you know? But again, after all of that quoting, and then they'd be like, is that your final price? And I'm just like, actually it is. And especially at that time, I wasn't even charging like my normal because I was just scared. I didn't want to lose jobs. Yeah. So I was already like, It was already reduced. And then you say that to me, and I'm just like, I can't. Like, I physically cannot, you know? Like, even if you pay me that or less than that, I'm still not going to do the work because it's really not even worth it.
Exactly.
So that kind of went down the drain as well. And then there was a third one that also went down the drain. You know, like, and it was all in the space of the same 3 months.
Just
and at that point, I was kind of just like, I'm done with this. Like, I don't even care about you. Don't put that in there. but like really.
No, but it's true. Like it's nothing bad to say that you don't care.
It's not because obviously you don't care about me either. You know,
like so, they're not reciprocating that at all. So
and like all the energy that I'm putting in and all you're putting on it is that you just want a low value, and it's like, but no, I'm not low value. So
exactly.
So no, you know. So I was kind of like, I just got to a point where I was like, I want to do OneandFour, and I don't want to have to worry about all of this other crap. So I just cut it.
Yeah. Good decision. Yeah.
Most definitely.
I feel like it's just such a source of stress, right?
Extremely. And I couldn't even do OneandFour properly with it. Like I could only do when I had time, like 2 weeks in between clients or whatever. Yeah. To, you know, to focus on it. And so it was always very sporadic, you know? Yeah. But then over lockdown, I designed all of the basics, and that was really cool. Produced it. It's all recycled cotton.
Amazing.
Yeah, so that was fun.
Awesome.
And then there was the whole campaign around it, which was cool.
Yeah. So what's next for OneandFour? What's coming up? Can you give us a bit of a teaser?
Yeah, I mean, I think I already did, but but no, like literally what I'm doing right now is I'm working on the stuff that I designed digitally, and I have more of what I.
Is it the dresses, like the ones that you posted them, right?
Yeah.
Like you posted them on your story or something.
Yeah. Okay. No, but I did post them before. But so there's a bunch of stuff that I did post. There's a bunch of stuff that I didn't post. So I just I want to take that stuff where it's like. I enjoyed working on them. I like them. They're interesting. They're not going to appeal to everyone. Yeah. And I'm not bothered with that. Yeah. You know? So I'm just going to do them, make like literally a few pieces to shoot with some people. Yeah. And then just go from there. Cool. So yeah.
There was a question that I forgot to ask you when you mentioned, you know, how people see that you're back on the map when you post something or people start hitting you up.
Yeah.
Do you ever find it that like it's a bit draining to have to use social media all the time when you were doing client work? I guess it's not as much anymore. But when you were kind of freelancing or doing the client work, did you ever find the social media part of it a bit draining?
I mean, it always is. Even without the client work, it's like you kind of do still have to be on there when you're in the creative scene because you can't drop off. Like people want to know that you're still doing stuff.
Exactly.
So regardless of this or with OneandFour, like I still have to be there. Not just OneandFour as a page, but me personally. Yeah. Like people want to know what I'm up to. I say that with so much confidence. I don't know if people want to know what I'm up to, but like no, it's like people who are interested in OneandFour, you know, like they just want to know. Yeah. They want it. It's a bit more personal in a sense, I guess.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have a message or a piece of wisdom for anyone who's trying to get into the fashion design, fashion curation scene?
Oh man, I think that like it's one of the things that as a student, or maybe students, like fashion students now are more aware of this. But for me, when I was a student, I definitely was not this aware of like all the dark sides of fashion. And I think that like it just came as a bit of a shocker. Yeah. And it was kind of like, I didn't expect it.
It's not what I signed up for.
It's not, you know, exactly. But then now I'm here and this is what I know how to do. So like I literally studied for 4 years to do this, so I think I kind of have to do it. Like, but I think it's just like knowing what you're getting yourself into, and also just not getting like sucked into the mix of not caring because that just sucks. Yeah. Like there's so many people in fashion, they just don't care about anything, about the values, about like the people behind what you're doing.
So just doing your research, your due diligence.
Yeah, do your research, care about people, care about the environment.
Yeah, that's it.
And then if you still want to be in fashion, then you know.
Good luck.
Yeah. Basically. Yeah.
Are you? Last question before we wrap up, before my outro.
Okay.
Do you see yourself branching out into anything else creatively anytime soon, or is it the clothing, the fashion for?
Definitely. I think that like I literally called it OneandFour Studio because I didn't want it to be like a clothing brand only. So I ventured a little bit. I made some jewelry.
Okay, nice. Nice.
I never put it out. I probably should, but I would love to. Like I would love to explore different areas of design, like in product design would be so cool. You know, like I want to make like a chair or something. Okay. A table. I don't know. Okay. Stuff like that.
So mostly. Not much like graphic design and stuff, just mostly.
No, I don't know. I actually don't know. I just don't know how to do it. Yeah. Graphic design is just like, goes over my head. But
probably the only thing I'm decent at.
Oh really? Yeah. Like I can illustrate, I can draw, but like I don't know. Like try and ask me to like design something that looks good on a something. I can't do it for some reason. It's weird. The composition of something, like it's important, and I can't do it. So we're just gonna let that go, you know.
So we'll keep an eye out for the furniture line coming out soon.
Maybe, yeah.
Wait, what's the story behind the name?
Oh,
OneandFour.
Okay, so OneandFour basically, like at its essence, It's you and like the 4 pillars of your life, like the 4 corners, what your anchors, you could say, what keep you up. For me, for the brand, I'm going to try and remember the 4 corners of my brand. There's sustainability, obviously, is the main one. There's like intricacy in cuts, the human form. And there was one more thing and I can't remember it. That sucks.
It's okay.
Let's just make one up.
Yeah, go for it.
I don't know. Anyway, but the name is mainly inspired by me and my siblings.
Okay.
So there's 5 of us. There's 5 of us. There's 4 sisters and 1 brother. My brother always says he's the one, and we're the 4.
Okay, that's cute.
But it's just you and the 4 corners of your life, basically. So yeah.
All right, amazing.
That's it.
All right. Well, to wrap up this lovely conversation, thank you again for taking the time to be here.
Of course. Thanks for having me after so long.
Yeah, it was a while in the making.
It's my bad.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. I get it. So yeah, to wrap up, what are your top 3 songs in rotation right now?
Right now?
You can check your phone if you want to.
Let me check, actually.
Feel free to.
Oh, I've been like digging my rib into the couch this whole time. It actually hurts.
And after that, your favorite concert ever.
Oh, okay. Okay, one at a time. Wait.
Yeah.
What's currently in my music? Okay, so I'm gonna just be real honest. I threw it back these days.
Okay.
I've been listening to London Grammar.
Okay, I'm unfamiliar.
You don't even know who that is, right?
No.
But like, it's one of the old albums that I was listening to when I was at uni. And this is you could say this is literally just the past few days, like not recently. It's just the past few days.
Okay.
Because they're the ones that came up, so I'm gonna just be honest.
All right.
London Grammar and Sia, but also a very old album.
Okay.
Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
Okay, but I don't like any of her new
the new stuff.
She had really, really, really beautiful, just like kind of acoustic in a sense.
Yeah. Her voice is amazing.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And then Eddie Vedder. I also don't think you know who that is.
No, I don't.
Do you know the band Pearl Jam?
Yes, I do.
So he's the main singer.
Okay.
Yeah, but he also like separately, because Pearl Jam is really intense.
Yeah.
No, I can't do it. But Eddie Vedder alone, and it's specifically the music that he did for the movie Into the Wild.
Okay.
You should listen to it.
I'll
I don't know if
check it
you're
out.
into like rock at all.
I am.
Yeah,
for sure.
Cool. Actually, because like nobody's into rock anymore for some reason.
At all.
Like it just disappeared. But I'm a rock girl at heart.
No, I love it.
But so I just suddenly felt like listening to Eddie Vedder the other day. But yeah, it's kind of like Oasis vibes a little bit.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. What was your other question?
Your favorite concert ever?
Everyone's gonna hate me for saying this, but I literally went to their concert twice. Coldplay.
Oh, okay. No, that's fine. They're an amazing band.
They're actually great. I don't know why people these days are like,
great.
What the hell's going on?
I mean, I've gotten Macklemore before, so I don't think we can top that.
That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I literally went to Coldplay twice.
In Abu Dhabi, right?
I went once in Abu Dhabi and in New Zealand when I was living there as well.
Nice.
So it was the album before that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right, guys. Thanks again if you've made it this far.
Yeah.
Thanks again for tuning in. I really appreciate you. And check out Engy's Instagram. Check out OneandFour Studio. It's all going to be linked. So yeah, show some love, fellow creative, fellow Egyptian. And I'll catch you on the next one.
Cool.
Peace,
Thanks
peace,
for having
peace.
me.
Of course. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
I appreciate you taking the time.
Of course. Cool.
All right. Dunzos.
That was fun.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
You just had all these questions in your head?
Yeah.
You just memorized this shit?